Nadia flew in the sky and watching the riot in Eldoria, and she standing on the fort, she saw people lying dead. Nadia seemed happy. Then, she went into the castle through the gate. Draven stares at the frantically running animal. This creature has a very strange appearance. Despite its unusual look, Draven isn't afraid and gets ready to face the animal. He looks around, finds a tree branch nearby, and holds it confidently. The strange beast also runs towards Draven without showing fear. Draven was expecting this and hits the beast on the head with the branch he's holding. Surprisingly, the strange beast falls to the ground. After a moment, it gets back up, looking a bit unsteady. The beast tries to run away into the forest, unable to withstand the repeated hits from Draven's branch. As the animal runs away completely, he drops the branch. He picks up a fishes that lying on the ground. Draven continues his journey through the forest. A beautiful waterfall flows down the mountain in the heart of a dense forest. At the waterfall's base, there's a calm pool of water where a young woman enjoys a bath. Beautiful fish swim around her to admire her beauty. Jane tries to forget her worries by catching some of them and gently returning them to the water. Meanwhile, at home, Tova is busy cooking. Tova notices Draven's arrival. As he gets closer. "Why did you disappear yesterday? You left in the morning and are returning now, after being gone all day," Tova asks with a mix of anger and concern. Draven explains, "Mom, I often dream about a place beyond this forest where people like us can live freely. So, I traveled a bit into the forest to search for it. Night fell, and I ended up sleeping there. On the way back this morning, I catched some fish from the stream." It's the fish on the ground and says, "Here are the fish I caught." Tova glances at Draven and scolds, "Never take such reckless risks again." Tova picks up one of the fallen fish and asked, "Did you see any groups of people living beyond the forest?" Draven replies, "No, Mom, I didn't come across anyone out there." He adds, "It seems like there's no one else in this world except the two of us." Just then, Jane approaches Tova after finishing her bath. Seeing Jane, Draven admires her beauty. However, Jane becomes nervous and curiosity. Recognizing Jane's fear, Tova said, "He's my son, don't be scared." Jane looks at Draven with a bit of hesitation. Draven met Jane face to face. Unable to cope with the sight, Jane becomes nervous. Draven seems surprised and interested while looking at Jane. He asked to the Tova, "My mother, you've always said that there's no one in this world, so where could a girl like you come from now?" Tova was a bit confused and glanced at Draven. In response, he asked if there's a place in the world where people live closely together, like in his dream. Tova replied, "I don't know about that." She explained, "I was born and raised here, and I raised you here too." Draven then questioned, "Where is my father?" This upset the old lady, and she started crying. "Mom," he asked, "did I hear something wrong?" "No, you heard correctly," she answered. "But now I can't answer your question," the Tova said, "I'll tell you when the time comes." Meanwhile, Jane, who had been listening to everything, sat somewhere lost in thought. Tova approached her and said, "Don't worry about what we talked about. It's our thing. It won't affect you," she consoles. Arriving at the palace, Nadia circled around it from the top of the castle wall, searching for Titus. She found Titus sitting in a room near the house. Nadia stood in front of Titus, in through the window. When Titus saw a woman with wings before him, he became afraid, thinking someone was trying to kill him. He quickly grabbed his sword and asked, "Who are you?" He rushed towards Nadia, swinging his sword. Nadia swiftly dodged the attack, causing cut her wings. One of Nadia's wings cut off and fell to the ground. In the next moment, new wings sprouted from Nadia's back. She smiled at Titus. Titus, still frightened, asked, "Who has come to kill me?" He pointed his sword and warned, "I'll kill you before you kill me." Suddenly, Nadia disappeared, leaving Titus amazed. Nadia's voice echoed from above, saying, "Titus, you can't kill me." Titus looked up at the roof. Nadia jumped down and declared, "Titus, I'm not here to kill you. I came to help you." She continued, "You killed your brother Vagan to become the king of Eldoria, and now you're planning to kill Princess Jane." Titus stared at Nadia, somewhat dazed, and asked how she knew all this. Nadia replied confidently, "I know everything. My goal is to make you the king of this country." Titus inquired, "What will you gain from me becoming the king?" Nadia explained, "There are benefits, and I'll tell you once you become the king." Titus refused her help, stating, "I don't need your help. My brother Vagan is dead, and Princess Jane met a tragic end at the hands of wild animals. I'm the next in line to rule this country." Titus asked Nadia, "No one can stopping me from becoming the king?" Nadia smiled and asked, "Do you really believe that Princess Jane was taken down by those foolish creatures?" "No, it was your army that got defeated by the beasts, and they ended up saving her. Now she's alive and well, hidden in the forest. If the peoples of Eldoria find out she's alive, they won't accept you as their king anymore." Titus was stunned by Nadia's revelation about the princess being alive. He asked her with disbelief, "Are you telling the truth?" Nadia confidently replied, "Yes, I'm telling the truth. Not only that, she's actually protected by wild animals in the forest. You can't harm her without my orders. No matter how many soldiers you send into the woods, none will return alive." Titus finally asked Nadia, "What should we do then?" Offering a sinister smile, Nadia replied, "As a favor to you, I'll release Princess Jane from animals' protection on tomorrow, but just for one day. Seize this opportunity and go to the forest at the right time to end her life." Titus questioned, "Can you really make that happen?" With a hint of pride, Nadia asked back, "Have you not witnessed my power, the sprouted wing?" Titus told, "I promise I'll grant you whatever you desire if you carry out this favor for me." Nadia instructed, "Send your soldiers to the forest tomorrow morning." She added with a deceptive grin, "I will ask my request later." Nadia swiftly departed, flying out of the window. Titus sat there, holding his head in utter confusion. The next day, as the sun rose, hundreds of soldiers lined up in front of palace. Approaching the sub-commander Karis organizing the troops, Titus reminded him, "Don't forget that you failed to kill the princess last time. If you repeat that mistake, you'll lose head." In a respectful tone, the general assured Titus, "This time, I will make sure to end the princess's life and return with her head." "Go now," Titus dismissed him. General Karras instructed the soldiers to leave and then mounted a horse, leading the way ahead of the troops. The soldiers followed closely behind him, marching out of the fortress. The people of the country watched this scene unfold. Nadia stood at the high fort's peak, watching the army as it marched away with a smile on her face.